welcome. And
Okay, thank you all. I got this usual sentence to read here. This is the Tuesday, November 15th meeting of the State Fort Park Advisory Committee by
actually, it's
Zoom,
November 22nd.
the 22nd. Have I got the wrong one here?
No, we just didn't change the date
Oh,
when we moved the
okay.
meeting.
Okay,
Start that again.
all right. This is the November 22nd meeting of the State Fort Park Advisory Committee located, we're on Zoom. So let me read this paragraph. This meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law pursuant to section 20 of chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. Additionally, all votes taken by the State Fort Park Advisory Committee during this and future remote meetings will be by roll call vote. If you are calling in on the phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you're watching on a computer or device, that is a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications to be recognized to speak. So that takes care of that. We'll
Do the
have a
roll call.
roll call. I have to do a roll call vote and see my list is right here. Greg Anderson,
Yes, here.
David Benjamin,
Here,
Mark Cole. If I call you, Mark,
Here, sorry, here, I didn't mean to.
okay, David Dow here. Mike Hale, no, Steve Katie. Steve,
He's
Steve,
muted.
you here? You hear me, Steve?
you got to unmute, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Here.
Okay,
Thank you. Oh, there's Adrian.
Jamie Asio, okay. John Nolan, no. Adrian's here.
Here,
You hearing us?
I'm hearing you. Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Chairman's remarks. My remarks are short. Thank you all for attending. This stuff is kind of difficult to follow at times. We have had a few meetings that have been canceled for one technical problem after another. Also, we were due to go before Budget and Finance last week, and that was not rescheduled, but Budget and Finance were needing to go over our application, but for some reason they decided to only do half the applicants. And we're in the second half, so we're going back before Budget and Finance for the 350,000 on December either 7th or 8th. So, so with that, we'll go to the Secretary's report. Everybody read the Secretary's report? Is there any additions?
We have the motion to pass it first. We have a motion to move the secretary's report.
Before we do that, David, I see in the minutes, I guess Jamie Marshall, in the minutes, it's that he's marked as a Rotarian member. I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
was not
why.
sure about that. Is he not a member?
No, I'm not sure why did he recuse himself?
I don't remember. It said in my minutes that he did not vote. Well, actually, I wrote down that we had a count for the vote in my notes. And I was assuming that he was the guy that, including you.
I think it might have been Barry.
Barry wasn't here for that meeting.
Oh, he wasn't?
Let's just strike that. So where is that?
That's new business,
Katie,
second
let's
paragraph.
just say Mr. Katie recused himself. Okay? And that you were the only one who didn't vote. The rest of us voted in favor of it. Okay,
Everybody okay?
but
with
actually, I need the motion before we even have the discussion about it. Anybody want to
So
move?
moved.
Okay, who was that, Craig? Was that Craig or Steve?
That was
Steve,
Steve.
Steve, all right. And a second,
Second it.
Second.
Adrian, okay. Now we can discuss. So that change I can put in. Any other additions, changes, edits? Okay. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Oh, this has to be a roll call, sorry.
Okay. Craig Anderson,
Yes.
David Benjamin,
Yes,
Mark Cole. Mark Cole? I lost
Yes,
Mark.
sorry, yes.
Okay. David Dow, yes. Steve Katie,
Yes,
Amy, Sean, Adrian,
Yes.
all right, thank you. Now we go to new business.
Right.
Oh, public comments, sorry.
yeah. Are there any public comments out there? Anybody want to hit the button, raise their hand? Whatever. Okay, no, there are no public comments. So we'll go
To
to
new business.
new business.
Any new business?
The new business is not very much. Obviously, because Budget and Finance hasn't put the rubber stamp on our application, it hasn't moved anywhere else, but obviously it's going to happen. I'm not too worried about any of that. It's going to go forward. It's just going to take a little more time. And in the meantime, I think I had reported before that I removed the third cannon from the fort. We have that, it's being cleaned out. We're working on the carriage parts of that.
All right, that's all old business.
Old
now.
business,
So
wanna do that?
there really was no new business,
No new business?
no new business.
Okay, old business, Fort area,
Ah.
go along with that. So, working on the wood parts, got 3 wheels done. The next thing is some axles. I did get some nice white oak for the axles. So we'll work on that. That's where we are with the new cannons. We did do a little repair on the Parrott rifle. It had an opening in the bottom for the screw that raises and lowers the barrel, which was always a little bit of a problem. So we had a aluminum guy take care of that and do a nice repair. So that has been done. We have a kit to decide the best way to remove the paint on the third cannon. Might not be able to do that until warm weather. The cold makes that stuff not work so good, even though it's inside. And if the cannon barrel itself is cold, it'll be very difficult to heat that up to any degree. So we might not be able to get that until warm weather. But the cannon has been cleaned up, mostly outside and inside. An interesting thing that we found is that in these replica cannons, there's also a hole in the very back of the cannon where the breech would be. I think that probably has something to do with the replica and the foundry. But that hole has a wooden plug in it. And we found the original plug. Somehow somebody had removed it and pushed it into the front of the cannon. So we have a wooden plug that's kind of tapered. It's pretty easy to tell that it was done by hand. I have to think that it's original, so that wooden plug is got to be well over 100 years old. So the plug that I made for the cannon that's down the boulevard now was removed right off the bat by somebody. I haven't replaced it yet, but now we know exactly. I mean, it's just a wooden plug, but nevertheless, it has some shape to it. It has some fluting in it. I'm not sure why, but we did find an actual artifact that relates to those 2 old cannons. So I think that's pretty cool. Everything else you find inside is everything from Coke bottles to old beer cans, cigarette butts, stones, sticks, really old beer cans going way, way back, private label beer cans, whatever, candy wrappers, the little plastic eggshell type things that they used to have candy in. Somebody stuffed some of that, but all that's pretty normal, not really artifacts, but we got them out of there anyway. So that's where we are with that.
Maybe you want to talk about the Ford area restoration.
The Ford area restoration, I haven't learned anything new about that. I think it's just going forward, taking the steps to get it in. I'm not too worried about that. But, I think it's important to, at least the way I view it and the way I understand it is, the city of Gloucester does all of these things that every other city does. We got the water and sewer, and they have to provide us with fire and police and whatnot. Hundreds of things. But no one forces the city to do the work that's been done on the boulevard the last few years. No one's forcing the city to complete all this work. They could easily say, no, we don't have the money. They did that for the fort a couple of times before. Julian Hatch being the last guy. So I think it's nice to know that this city is doing this extra work for us. And in my view, just knowing that, I'm comfortable with this thing just moving along, even though, I'm not in the loop of daily stuff. I'm sure Mike and maybe Mark are just moving forward with it, and it's going to happen, and will be done. So as far as cannons, I think that's it. That's the restoration. The cannon down the fort, down the boulevard right now probably needs a coat of paint. We put kind of a light coating on it so it wouldn't blister. But I don't think we'll get that done now, but maybe the very beginning of spring we will. We have had a couple more complaints on the plug that goes in the front of the cannon, which is painted black and it has the red star. Evidently that's upset a couple of people. I don't think it's more than 2 or 4, but there was another question that came up a week or 2 ago about that, and I haven't really done anything about it other than say we'll have the people call me and we'll talk about it. But other than that, there are no issues with the cannon.
Well, now the plug is gone, isn't it?
No, it's there.
Did you just say one of the
No,
plugs?
this is the plug in the front of the cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different than the plug that I found that goes in the rear.
Oh,
It's a different plug.
okay.
So that's where I am on that. And I can't think of anything else on the other business. We have budget and finance coming up. I think then it goes back to the city council for approval, and then it goes to the mayor's office of signature. So, it's all moving forward. I did give a speech or talk rather at Rotary a few weeks ago. Rotary was interested in hearing about the cannons, so I gave a talk. Steve was there. I think it was pretty well received and everybody understood what we was doing. And it was a good thing to get done. Steve, you thought it was okay?
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
One of the things that did come out of that Rotary meeting that you were at was the Rotary Club was wondering if you had any time frame when you're going to need the donation for the flagpole.
I don't have a time frame, and I think that was George Rourke was taking it upon himself to get back to the DPW, probably either Mike or Mark, to see where they stood on that. I think there was some concern on the part of the DPW as to what are the logistics of this. Is somebody going to buy the pole and deliver it down to the contractor and put it up, or is the city going to put up somebody else's pole? I'm not sure where that stood, but George was going to look into that a bit if he could. And since you brought that up, there is a question about the original plan shows the flagpole sort of in the middle as you enter the fort area. I think that's too close to the fireworks bunker. It may be a state law that pole would have to be maybe 100 feet further away. There can be no obstructions as far as fireworks go. So, I mean, it's easy to move it back, maybe move it back up under the hill, but I think all that stuff comes, into final play and done when a contractor gets to get his feet on the ground and somebody just decides, okay, put the pole there. But that is a question. Also, part of that was the thought was that the DPW might have trouble driving through to the fort because of the location of the flagpole. But, until they reach that point down there, at that point, I think it becomes like a design build. Okay, let's put it there rather than over here. So those are the only issues that I know of that has to be taken care of regarding the flagpole. It's not in the bid, as far as I know, for the contractor to supply the flagpole. Is going to be on you guys. The
Right.
logistics of that,
Well,
that,
my impression
I'm
was,
not sure.
my impression was we were just going to donate $2,000 for the purchase of the pole.
That's right. So I guess the city has to figure out how they get $2,000 from the Rotary into the budget for that. There's,
Mark?
I don't know, Mark might know more about that than I do.
You guys would have to go to city council, that we would have to go to city council to accept the donation.
So
I'm not-
do we need to write a letter to the city council president in order to do that?
Yeah, I would do that, and then you'll probably get notified that you'll have to come to a meeting just to make the presentation, and then the city has to accept the donation before we can do anything with it.
Okay, but what kind of time frame are we talking about? I mean, we're not going to put that up until the later end of the construction, I would think, right?
I don't think it really matters like how soon or how late you go, as long as it's done. And you could go tomorrow and then you don't have to actually make the donation until the time comes, but the city has to accept the donation first of all. So let me
Okay.
ask tomorrow, and I'll shoot you an email and see, what's the time frame for the Rotary to donate it.
That'd be great.
Okay, any other questions? Other business? I have no other business. David?
Anybody have a wish list? No. Not now.
We want to adjourn?
We can. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, when's the next meeting going to be?
I gotta do a secretary. I gotta do a roll call, I guess.
Oh, wait a minute. Steve has a question about when we can meet, when we would meet again. Bum, bum, bum. Does
Mark,
Tuesday,
can we begin to work? Can we meet in person and I can use the harbor master's office? Yeah,
I think you can. It still has to be, I think you still have to Zoom it for the public so they have access. But I believe you can meet in person at the Harbor Masters.
is that a better thing to do?
how does everybody feel about that?
I think it's a good idea.
I'm good either way.
Yeah,
I could make it. I prefer Zoom. I mean, my kids are home.
Yeah.
Don't have to get a sitter, but either way, I could make it work.
What do you think, Mark?
it's fine either way. I mean, and Adrian, if you can't make it, you can always.
I can zoom
from
in.
home, too.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, the next question is Tuesday night still good for everybody?
Works for me.
Yeah.
Good for me.
How about if if I try to set up, or Mark tries to set up a January meeting, maybe January 10th, and we could skip the December meeting. We don't
That's
have
good.
much, we don't have
Decembers are
much traffic.
crazy. Yeah.
Should we try to meet in the middle of December before Christmas?
Well, we can. My point, I guess, is that we don't really have any business looming. So we could
Right.
probably get away without having a December meeting.
I wouldn't mind that. December's full.
Yeah. We didn't really have business tonight, but we felt like we
was-
needed to just catch up.
It
you
was a
know?
good update. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
things won't start really popping until the city starts the project up there, and I might suggest just for everybody to start thinking about other ideas you might have of things we could do at the park to improve the park. This project that's coming up now has been like a pretty big effort for the committee for several years, and it's sort of culminating, if you will. So we have lots of interesting people on our committee, and we have some dedication and time to think about some new directions to go, if you like. So put on your thinking caps and maybe get a wish list going, and we'll start with a fresh attitude in the coming year, in 2023.
That's a
We could
good
put Cressy's Beach on my wish list.
There you
if you're
go.
If you're
I like
keeping
that.
track. It's getting pretty dangerous on that wall.
Good
Yeah.
idea. It just occurred to me that I visited the Vietnam veterans thing down there, and it's kind of nice if you haven't seen it. And it's pretty nice at night with the lights on. I think there's a little tiny bit more work to do.
Yeah, did I
Right.
hear they're putting up trellises around it?
I think so. There's some structures down low that obviously something's going to be attached to.
Yeah, I think they're
But
trellises.
It's pretty
Which
well
I hate.
done.
I hate blocking the eye line to the ocean, but I get it. But
Yeah, right. I do too.
it's
Open space is supposed to be priority for me, and it's going to be.
we're
moving
running out of
forward.
open space on the boulevard.
Yeah.
Not that it's not beautiful, but one more
Yeah.
memorial, or
Yeah.
there's not gonna be any grass left. And it's really,
No,
you want the focal point to be the Fisherman Memorial. So it's getting,
I agree. That's a good wish list. We need something to shut down the park. Oh, don't get me started on that. We better leave that one. So,
Okay.
are we
So
gonna?
We
we're
have
gonna
a
go-
tentative date of January 10th for the next meeting, and we'll try to set it up for the harbor master office. So
Yep.
pencil that into your calendars if that works for all of us. And we'll let Jamie know.
that we're-
is that on Emerson Ave, Harbor Master's office?
No,
Or
it's
is that-
down
back
Harbor
down
Loop.
Harbor Loop.
Yeah, right
Was
next
it?
to the,
Okay.
it's
Am I
right,
imagining it was briefly at Emerson Ave? I thought they moved for a minute, but no, maybe not.
They might have been in there for a brief period of time when
They
they
were-
were
yeah.
redoing the building, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
thought I saw it and I was like, oh, weird, they're here now, but they moved back. Very good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice down there.
Sure.
But that veterans thing is nice, particularly at night. Take a peek at it. So
January
do we need to have
10th.
a roll call to change the meeting? We don't, do we?
No,
Okay.
but we will if we. Have they been doing roll call votes at other meetings, Mark, for
I think they have, yeah, I think you have to do the roll call vote for everything.
for everything? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, if it's all right, may we have a motion to adjourn? I will make that motion.
Second.
Second.
I'll second.
Dave Dow beat you to the punch.
Okay, so Greg Anderson,
Yes.
David Benjamin,
Yes,
Mark Cole,
Yes,
David Dow, yes. Steve Katie,
Yes.
Jamie, Sean, Adrian,
Yes,
yes.
excellent. Thank you all for coming tonight.
thank
That
you.
was quick.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Good,
Mark.
guys.
Have a good